With its historic Stop the Ships decision on Tuesday, the Colorado Supreme Court declared that former President Donald Trump is unconstitutionally barred from running for office in 2024 due to his actions on January 6, 2021, which violated the 14th Amendment's limitation on insurrectionists holding public office. With the vote of 4-3, Trump is eliminated off Colorado's Republican primary ballot, which is set for Super Tuesday in early March. The Colorado Supreme Court, however, postponed its decision so that Trump could file an appeal with the U.S. Supreme Court. Should the appeal take a while to resolve, this may potentially secure Trump's place on the state's primary ballot. In many respects, the historic decision punishes Trump politically for his anti-democratic actions and holds him responsible for his attempts to rig the 2020 election. The decision is also a huge victory for liberal organizations and constitutional experts from various backgrounds who supported these 14th Amendment cases in spite of the overwhelming odds. However, Trump has become an expert at turning legal defeats into polling victories. He was not as strong to defeat President Joe Biden as he was a year ago, prior to his criminal indictment in 4 different counties, and on Tuesday night, he and his Republican allies really got going, acting like victims and criticizing the decision. The following are the main conclusions from the choice and its implications. Court finds that Trump participated in uprising. The trial judge's findings that Trump engaged in the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol and that it constituted an insurrection were maintained by the highest court in Colorado. Prior to Trump being removed from any ballot, the challengers had to overcome these significant legal obstacles, mainly because the 14th Amendment's language doesn't precisely define what constitutes an insurrection or how one engages in one. The court also upheld the ruling that the First Amendment did not apply to Trump's speech at the Ellipse on January 6. Trump has made an unsuccessful attempt to prove this point in state and federal courts, where it was determined that his statements encouraging supporters to walk down to the Capitol and fight like hell in order to take back our country incited violence. In its 134-page majority ruling, the justices stated that President Trump incited and encouraged the use of violence and lawless action to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power. Regarding Trump, the insurrectionist ban is relevant. On a crucial point, the trial judge's contentious ruling that the insurrectionist ban extends to all offices, but the presidency was overturned by the justices. Oath-breaking insurrectionists are prohibited from holding elected office in the United States or any state, as well as from serving as senators, representatives, or presidential electors, according to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. The president isn't mentioned, though. The trial judge decided to keep Trump on the ballot for 2024 because of the text's ambiguity. The High Court, however, didn't agree. This served as the decisive factor in their choice to remove Trump from office. A conclusion that the presidency is something other than an office under the United States is fundamentally at odds with the idea that all government officials, including the president, serve we the people, the court stated, adding that it seems most likely that the presidency is not specifically included because it is so evidently an office. The final say will belong to the U.S. Supreme Court. Everyone is aware that this is not the last word. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear the case. Who knows how the justices will rule on the case? How quickly will they choose to pursue the appeal? Will they argue orally? How soon will they make a determination that is final? With the Republican primary season beginning in less than a month with the Iowa caucuses, the answers to these questions will have an impact on the political calendar. The dynamic has changed with Colorado producing the stunner. Now that he is losing the lawsuit, Trump wants the country's highest court to give him back his ballot position. This implies that he will be pleading with the U.S. Supreme Court, which has a conservative supermajority and 3 justices he appointed, to support his campaign. Election law specialist Derek Muller of Notre Dame Law School, who filed a brief in the case offering legal analysis of the pertinent issues but remaining impartial on Trump's eligibility, called the ruling extraordinary and unprecedented. It seriously jeopardizes Trump's entire election campaign legally, he continued. And this election-altering case will be brought before the Supreme Court, which I'm sure it will not be in the mood to hear. A paused ruling is to Trump's advantage.